Hey, my buddy Christopher just messaged me on Voxer. Let's listen.
Michael, I just started an online business, and I'm so confused about how I should pay myself, how much I should pay myself, and when. Break it down for me, please.
Well, I can't let my buddy Christopher down, so today I'm going to break down everything that you and Christopher need to know as business owners about how and when to pay yourself. Let's go. The process of actually paying yourself as a business owner is fairly straightforward. First, if you're a sole proprietor or a single member LLC that is not taxed as an S-Corp, you're going to pay yourself what's known as an owner's draw. Now, sometimes you might hear people refer to these as distributions, which isn't technically correct, but you can go ahead and call it that if you want to. And the mechanics behind how you pay yourself through one of these owner's draws or distributions is really straightforward. First, you can pay yourself through ACH, where you just ACH the money from your business bank account to your personal checking account. The next way you can pay yourself is through something like Zelle. Finally, if you want to go super OG, you could withdraw cash from your business through the ATM and then deposit it into your personal account, or you could even write a check, like one of those old school paper checks, from your business bank account into your personal checking account. Here's the thing that you've got to remember. When you pay yourself through an owner's draw, remember that there's no taxes withheld. So you're going to want to set some amount of money aside so that when your quarterly estimates are due or when you pay taxes at the end of the year, you've got some money already earmarked for that. If you'd like to know more about how S-Corps and LLCs work, be sure to check out this video that I've linked above. If you're an LLC that is taxed as an S-Corp, there are two different ways that you pay yourself. First, you have to pay yourself what's known as a reasonable salary. And that reasonable salary is paid to you just like payroll that you would pay for an actual employee of your company. Now, I 1000% want to recommend that you get the assistance of a payroll provider like QuickBooks or Gusto, and that's because there are taxes that have to be paid and there are forms that have to be submitted throughout the year, and they're super confusing. So please get the help of a payroll service provider. The second way that you can pay yourself as an LLC with an S-Corp election is through distributions. And distributions are paid just like those draws that we talked about earlier. You can use ACH or something like Zelle, writing checks, etc. It works exactly the same way. Christopher's next question was, how much should he pay himself? And this is a classic it depends kind of answer. But in general, I want you to make sure that you're leaving enough money in the business to cover all of your operating expenses. I highly suggest you use a cash flow forecast to help you figure this out. And one of the biggest mistakes that I see, especially earlier stage entrepreneurs making with this, is maybe you're a coach or a course creator and you have a really successful launch and you bring in a ton of revenue. You might be inclined to take all of that home to kind of celebrate with, but the problem with that is you'll find later that you may not have enough money to reinvest in the business on things like growing your team or doubling down on your marketing spend, and that can result in your business getting stuck. So I want you to be really mindful of this. Now, if you're an S-Corp owner, there are some rules that dictate how much you have to pay yourself, and the IRS calls this amount a reasonable wage.
But, Michael, how much is a reasonable wage?
Great question, Chris. The concept of reasonable wage is something that the IRS came up with a while back, and honestly, it is confusing AF. But generally, this is what it's telling you. If you were to go out and hire somebody kind of like off the street to come in and do the job that you do as a CEO for your company, how much would you have to pay them? Well, this means that you're gonna have to go out and do a little bit of research to figure out how much you would actually have to pay somebody to come in and do your job. And this isn't always easy, so I want to encourage you to hire the help of a CPA or a tax expert to kind of help you navigate figuring out how much this amount is. The whole concept of S-Corps can be really confusing, so I did an entire video where I break down S-Corps and LLCs and how those taxes work. I've included a link in the description below if you'd like to check that out. Chris's final question was, how often should he be paying himself? And the good news here is it's completely up to you. For once, there's no rules, regulations, or IRS codes that dictate how often you have to pay yourself. You could literally pay yourself daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, or anything in between. If you're just starting out, your revenues probably aren't super consistent yet. So what I would encourage you to do is to pay yourself once a month based on your business's cash flow needs. Once your revenues become more consistent, what I would love for you to do is find a fixed amount that you know your business can pay you every other week. That'll make your personal life so much more predictable, which reduces a ton of stress. Then maybe like once a quarter, you can take a look at your cash flow needs and pay yourself a little bit of a bonus if you've got some money left over. Serious talk time out. If you've noticed a common thread in this video, it's the fact that you've got to understand your business's cash flow needs if you want to make smart decisions around how much you can pay yourself. And understanding your cash flow needs doesn't just inform how much you can pay yourself, it really informs almost everything that you do in your business. After doing this for years and years and working with hundreds of business owners, I can tell you that the number one tool that you can have in your business toolbox is an understanding of how to forecast your cash flow needs. So if you would like me to do a video like this one where I break down cash flows and cash flow forecasting, please leave me a note in the comments section below and I will be happy to make one of those videos. In the meantime, if you found a ton of value in this, it would mean the absolute world to me if you'd smash the like button below so that other people can more easily find this video. See you next week.